Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be talking about The Fall of Númenor by Tolkien, Christopher Tolkien, Brian Sibley, and I have to say, this was such a great book. It is a history of the fall of Númenor, and it does have other tales regarding the Second Age of Middle-earth, which they do make a point of noting in here that this is the age that Tolkien himself would call the Dark Ages of Middle-earth. You're seeing the impact here that this island of Númenor, the kingdom of Númenor, had on Middle-earth. Now, these are people who, they were long-lived humans. They did live longer than the race of man. They were close to the Undying Isles, but they were forbidden to go there. And it's just really interesting to see this story slash non-fiction narrative evolve. That's really the best way I can put it. It's just, obviously Tolkien has not been with us for quite some time, so I think this is one of the last projects that Christopher Tolkien himself also worked on before he passed away. You know, it's a compilation of his notes. There's storytelling, you know, going through the rulers of Númenor and the impact they had on Middle-earth. You know, sometimes they would sail to the mainland east, but they were really just centralized on their kingdom. You know, they were related as well to Elrond, his brother was the one who chose immortal life, right? So they are related in a way to Elrond and his line, right? It's really interesting to see how the elves play a part as well in the relationship between the Númenorians and the men of Middle-earth. It's very interesting. I will say it's not a fast read. You know, it is definitely, it's a history. You know, it is a slow read as far as the story is concerned. And while there is some storytelling in here, there are also snippets, you know, notes from Tolkien, you know, notes his son, you know, conversations he had regarding his notes. And, you know, I really think it's interesting. It really does work to balance out the tone of the story, I guess, because it has that historical feel. You know, it feels very, I guess authentic is the word I'm looking for. It feels very genuine. It feels very authentic. It feels like a history of Middle-earth, and also Tolkien himself, and you're seeing his notes, and you're seeing how he was able to bring things to life. You know, you're seeing the forging of the Rings of Power. You're seeing Sauron and his rise to power. You're seeing the effect he had on Númenor, and the role he played in the downfall of it as well. And honestly, this is probably, I'm so glad I read this before I watched Rings of Power. Yes, I have yet to watch Rings of Power, but I am glad I read this first. God, I hope they don't destroy the history now that I've read this. Maybe that was a bad decision. It is well told. It does capture Tolkien's heart and essence in his storytelling. I do like seeing his notes brought to life, and I do like seeing this blend of non-fiction with fiction. You know, I think it worked really well together to give the story a really good historical feel to it, which I think is what they were going for. And then you have the beautiful illustrations. The illustrations in this book are absolutely beautiful. I think it's incredible what the artist has done here. I think it's incredible what Brian Sibley and Christopher Tolkien were able to wrap up together with this story and present Lord of the Rings fans with an essential history of Middle Earth. So I think if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, this is definitely something you have to read. It is interesting. It is slow. It is a slow read, but the history is interesting at the end of the day. So, I mean, other than it being slow, a little dry at times, I will say that it was a little dry. I guess I can give this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. You know, like I said, it was a little dry at times, so storytelling parts, you know, wasn't quite as engaging as I remember The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit to be, but it was still interesting, and I really do think it still captured the essence of Tolkien himself without capturing, even though it failed to really capture his voice in it. So 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, I will include links in the description below where to purchase. And on that note, I hope you all continue to support me here by liking this podcast, subscribing to my channel, and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me Coffee, Ko-fi, Patreon, PayPal, or by purchasing one of my handmade candles. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.